What if I told you that Dubai's richest kids don't just live in luxury, they redefine what luxury even means? From private zoos filled with rare predators to sneaker vaults worth over $1 million, every detail of their lives is engineered for a level of wealth the world almost never sees. And if you stay until the end, you'll witness the one young billionaire whose lifestyle even outshines actual royalty. Rashid Belhasa, money kicks the social media billionaire kid. Before Dubai's skyline became his backdrop and before celebrities lined up to visit his private estate, Rashid Belhasa, better known as Money Kicks, was just the young son of a construction tycoon. His father, Saif Belhasa, built a business empire worth billions, but Rashid didn't wait to inherit anything. Instead, he did something no billionaire kid had ever attempted. He turned childhood into a global brand. It began when he was barely 11 years old, filming simple unboxing videos in a room stacked with sneakers. But these weren't ordinary shoes, they were ultra-rare Yeezys, Off-Whites and Air Jordans, valued at over $1 million. The collection grew so quickly that he needed dedicated storage rooms just to keep track of the releases. Limited editions like the Red October Yeezy, the Jordan 1's shattered backboard, and the Travis Scott collabs became his currency pieces that most collectors would chase for years. He bought in minutes. But sneakers were only the beginning. What truly catapulted Rashid into global fame was his Ferrari F12 Berlinetta, wrapped in a custom Louis Vuitton X Supreme print. The car itself cost around $300,000, but the branding transformed it into an internet phenomenon. Even though Rashid wasn't old enough to drive, the F12 became a symbol, a visual signature that declared he wasn't simply wealthy, he was shaping culture. Every post featuring the car went viral, attracting millions of views and turning him from a privileged kid into a digital celebrity. Then came the zoo. Hidden inside the Belhasa family estate is one of the largest private exotic animal collections in the Middle East, housing more than 500 rare animals: white tigers, lions, cheetahs, giraffes, zebras, even celebrity-named animals, each cared for by professional handlers. Maintaining this zoo costs around $2 million every year, a figure that most billionaires would hesitate at. But for Rashid, the zoo became a magnet. When global stars like Lionel Messi, Floyd Mayweather, Wiz Khalifa, Logan Paul, and DJ Khaled visited Dubai, they didn't book fancy resorts first, they visited him. Every handshake, every photo, every vlog filmed in his zoo expanded Rashid's brand reach. He didn't just meet famous people, he made them part of his world. And that world generated real wealth. Through YouTube revenue, fashion collaborations, sponsorships, and his streetwear label Kingdom, Rashid built independent income streams worth millions. He became a blueprint for the influencer billionaire hybrid, a kid who understood early that luxury alone wasn't enough. You had to turn luxury into content. Today, Money Kicks isn't just living a rich kid's life. He is crafting a narrative, monetizing attention, and proving that a teenager armed with creativity and access can build a media empire before turning 20. The question is, do you think his rise is pure luck or a new kind of genius? Comment below and tell me how you see Rashid's empire. Sed bin Buti Al-Maktoum, the royal phantom of Dubai. In a city overflowing with Lamborghinis, gold-plated penthouses, and influencers chasing visibility, Sed bin Buti Al-Maktoum stands apart. Not because he shows more, but because he reveals almost nothing. He is the quiet heir of Dubai's ruling lineage, a man whose wealth is measured not in noise but in precision. While other young elites document every luxury moment, Sed moves through the world like a whisper, leaving behind only fragments of a life that costs more to maintain than most fortunes can sustain. His personal style explains everything. Tailored kanduras stitched by artisans flown in from Oman, subtle fragrances crafted from rare oud oils sourced at tens of thousands of dollars per bottle, and an aura so controlled that even his social media presence feels choreographed. Yet the most telling detail lies on his wrist. Sed possesses one of the most meticulously curated watch collections in the UAE. Patek Philippe Grand Complications, Richard Mille RM11-3, and limited edition pieces whose combined valuation exceeds $4 million. These aren't watches purchased for display. They are investments that appreciate faster than some real estate portfolio. That sense of selective extravagance extends to where he lives. His primary residence, a beachfront villa on Dubai's coastline, is less a home and more a private retreat designed around tranquility. Floor-to-ceiling windows open to views of the Arabian Gulf, while handcrafted Italian marble, custom teak wood, and climate-controlled rooms showcase materials sourced from 6 different countries. The property is supported by a full-time staff, a personal chef trained in molecular gastronomy, a wellness therapist, and a household team, ensuring the villa operates with the seamless efficiency of a 7-star resort. But SED's lifestyle is not confined to Dubai. When he travels, he steps into a Gulfstream G700, a jet valued at over $75 million, configured specifically for him. Soft glow lighting to reduce jet lag, sound dampening architecture for discreet conversations, and a cabin scented with custom aromatics all underline the detail-oriented nature of someone raised in a family where perfection is expected, not requested. For leisure, he reserves private island villas in the Maldives, costing $80,000 per night, places where world leaders and ultra-high net worth individuals retreat to when they require absolute silence. Yet, despite these layers of opulence, the most intriguing part of SED's life isn't what he owns, it's what he protects. His digital footprint is curated with the discipline of a royal communications team. No impulsive posts, no unnecessary exposure, no accidental glimpses into private spaces. This intentional scarcity creates a gravitational pull, a mystique rare in a generation defined by oversharing. While many of Dubai's richest kids build influence through visibility, Sed builds it through absence. His silence becomes power, his privacy becomes wealth. In a world fascinated by loud luxury, he represents the opposite, the unreachable standard of silent royalty, where the most extraordinary extravagances are hidden behind closed doors, accessible only to those within his orbit. Hamdan bin Rasheed, billionaire with strategy. In Dubai, wealth is often loud, revving engines echoing through the city, skyscrapers etched with family names, and social media feeds drenched in gold. But Hamdan bin Rasheed operates differently. Heir to a construction empire generating more than $7 billion per year, he grew up in boardrooms rather than ballrooms, tutored not only in privilege, but in strategy. His fortune, estimated at $19.1 billion, isn't an inheritance he waits for. It's a responsibility he prepares to command. His world is defined not just by luxury, but by discipline. Every asset he owns tells a story about control, calculation, and legacy. Take, for instance, the Serene, a super yacht worth $500 million and once associated with Middle Eastern royals. It stretches nearly 440 feet across the water, equipped with underwater observation lounges, a helipad, and a seawater pool carved directly into the deck. But unlike other billionaire heirs who treat yachts as floating parties, Hamdan uses Serene as a mobile conference chamber, hosting investors, foreign partners, and strategists as they sail across the Mediterranean discussing multi-year development projects. His London estate, valued at $120 million, is equally revealing. Hidden behind tall hedges in one of the city's most exclusive neighborhoods, the mansion features Italian marble sourced from quarries older than the Roman Empire, hand-carved walnut libraries, and a private gallery designed to display Middle Eastern art under museum-grade lighting. It isn't a trophy home, it is a political and economic bridge between Dubai and Europe. From this estate, Hamdan manages relationships with architects, financiers, and tech innovators as part of his plan to diversify his family's empire into global markets. Then there is the garage, an entire wing of his Dubai residence reserved for engineering masterpieces. His Bugatti Chiron, valued at $4.2 million, rarely touches public roads. The Lamborghini Veneno, one of the rarest hypercars in the world, sits beside custom-tuned McLarens and carbon fiber Mercedes models. But these vehicles aren't mere indulgences. They represent something else. A collector who values design principles, mechanical precision, and the fusion of art with engineering. In Hamdan's mind, a hypercar is a thesis, proof that human imagination can manifest in metal. Yet what truly separates Hamdan from other heirs is his obsession with the future. While many billionaire children focus on lifestyle, he focuses on expansion. His investment portfolio channels millions into AI firms, fintech platforms, and strategic consultancies, shaping development policies across the GCC region. He funds data-driven infrastructure blueprints, supports urban innovation labs, and hosts closed-door summits discussing how technology can accelerate economic diversification in the Middle East. The world sees a young billionaire with super yachts and supercars, but behind the scenes stands a strategist preparing to lead one of the most influential industrial dynasties in the Gulf. Hamdan doesn't simply inherit wealth, he architects it. And in Dubai's next chapter, he may become not just a symbol of privilege, but a quiet force shaping the future of the region itself. Abdullah bin Zayed, Qatar's young luxury icon. In the world of Gulf royalty, where wealth is measured not only in numbers but in the artistry of how it is expressed, Abdullah bin Zayed has crafted a presence that feels almost cinematic. With an estimated fortune of $500 million, he stands at the center of Qatar's new generation of elite, youthful, meticulously styled, and fluent in the language of modern luxury. Yet what makes Abdullah fascinating isn't simply the magnitude of his wealth, but the intentionality behind every detail of his lifestyle. His morning often begins in a garage that resembles a designer showroom more than a parking space. The air smells faintly of polished leather and high-octane fuel, reflecting off metallic curves belonging to machines worth over $10 million combined. A Rolls-Royce Wraith, priced at around $530,000, sits beside a Lamborghini Aventador valued at $600,000, their silhouettes catching the soft glow of recessed lighting. Nearby, his Ferrari SF90, a hybrid supercar costing close to $800,000, hums softly as technicians run diagnostics before the day's drive. These cars are not trophies, they are instruments, each selected for a particular impression, a specific moment, a certain mood. But where Abdullah truly separates himself is in his relationship with fashion. While many wealthy heirs buy luxury, Abdullah commissions it. Pieces from Dior, Louis Vuitton, and Thom Browne arrive not from standard collections but from couture ateliers, tailored to his measurements and aesthetic choices. Seamstresses in Paris and Milan spend weeks crafting garments for him, stitching by hand the hems of coats made from rare wool blends or silk cashmere fabric sourced in limited quantities. Some outfits, according to stylists close to the family, cost more than $20,000 each, not because of extravagance, but because Abdullah sees clothing as architecture, worn on the body. His lifestyle stretches far beyond wardrobes and supercars. When he travels, it is aboard the family's private jet, a flying residence with cream leather seating, polished walnut panels, and personalized amenities chosen specifically for him. For weekend retreats, he often boards the family's yacht, where entire decks are dedicated to leisure, sun lounges, marble-clad dining salons, and a private cinema room overlooking the sea. These vessels operate like floating sanctuaries, allowing Abdullah to disappear from public view even as he glides between continents. Yet despite this luxury, Abdullah maintains an active presence in the world of global culture. He attends fashion weeks in Paris, Milan, and New York, where photographers capture him stepping out of blacked-out SUVs, wearing couture jackets and rare sneakers. Designers greet him personally, stylists study his looks. Influence agencies follow his social traction, measuring how his appearances subtly shift trends in the Middle Eastern luxury scene. He is not just another rich kid. He is a symbol of refinement, a curated fusion of tradition and modernity. What makes Abdullah compelling is the quiet confidence underlying his lifestyle. He doesn't flaunt wealth for chaos or shock value. Instead, every car, every garment, every destination reflects a coherent identity. A young aristocrat who understands luxury as an art form and expresses it with the precision of someone born into a world where detail is both culture and currency. Princess Manal Al Thani, Dubai's most sophisticated billionaire daughter. Among the Gulf's new generation of aristocracy, Princess Manal Al Thani stands in a category of her own, an heir to a legacy worth $1 billion, yet defined not by extravagance, but by a finely curated vision of what modern royalty should look like. While many affluent heirs embrace loud displays of wealth, Manal embodies a different aesthetic, luxury expressed in silence, refinement carried with intention, and influence sculpted through elegance rather than excess. Her world begins at the Pearl Qatar, where her $37 million villa rises from the waterfront like a contemporary palace carved from glass and light. The villa stretches across multiple levels, with panoramic windows capturing the full curvature of the sea. Inside, Italian marble sourced from quarries in Carrara blends seamlessly with hand-woven Persian rugs valued at tens of thousands of dollars each. Soft lighting glows from chandeliers commissioned in Murano, while corridors display curated artworks from emerging Middle Eastern painters, pieces she personally acquires for their emotional resonance rather than their market value. A private wardrobe forms its own universe. Princess Manal is widely recognized for her haute couture collection, one of the most extensive among the Gulf's younger royals. Dresses from Elie Saab, Valentino, and Dior haute couture, some costing more than $50,000 per gown, are stored in climate-controlled chambers designed to preserve delicate fabrics. Seamstresses in Paris and Beirut work seasonally to craft custom pieces exclusively for her, stitching gowns with gold thread and hand-embellishing tulle that will later appear at royal galas and diplomatic receptions. But her elegance extends beyond fashion. When she travels the city, she alternates between a $450,000 Rolls-Royce Ghost, finished in a bespoke pearl-white lacquer, and a Mercedes G-Wagon Brabus, modified with handcrafted carbon fiber accents. These vehicles are not symbols of indulgence, rather they operate as extensions of her public identity, understated strength balanced with timeless luxury. At royal ceremonies, she moves with the precision of someone raised amid protocol. Each appearance reflects intentional styling, from emerald jewelry sourced from family collections to modernized abayas tailored to complement international couture. Photographers often describe her presence as effortless gravity. She draws attention without demanding it. Yet Princess Manal's life is not limited to aesthetics. She is deeply involved in investment portfolios spanning international real estate, fine art, and strategic cultural ventures. She owns properties in London and Istanbul, some valued at over $20 million, chosen for their architectural heritage and long-term appreciation. Her art acquisitions, often purchased through discreet auction channels, contribute to a private collection estimated in the tens of millions of dollars. A collection not built for display but for preservation and legacy. In private circles, she is regarded as a bridge between tradition and the global luxury world. Her lifestyle is not defined by the volume of wealth, but by the mastery of its presentation. She represents a new narrative in Gulf royalty, where grace becomes power, sophistication becomes influence, and every element of life is shaped not just to reflect privilege, but to elevate it. Princess Manal does not chase attention, she orchestrates it. Zad Althani, the billionaire innovator of his generation. Among the newest heirs of the Gulf, Zad Althani stands out not because he displays wealth flamboyantly, but because he treats wealth as raw material, something to sculpt, to reimagine, to use as leverage for a future most people cannot yet see. With a personal net worth of nearly $1 billion, Zadeh represents a version of Middle Eastern royalty shaped by technology, global ambition, and a level of strategic thinking rare even among billionaire families. His home tells the story before he ever speaks. Unlike traditional royal estates, Zad lives in a $40 million penthouse perched high above one of the Gulf's most elite districts. The residence spans an entire top floor, wrapped in glass panes that offer uninterrupted views of the sea, a horizon he often says reminds him of ambition, because you never reach the end, you just keep moving toward it. Inside, minimalist interiors meet future tech aesthetics. Italian basalt stone floors, kinetic light installations that shift with the time of day, and a living room designed around a single centerpiece. An AI-controlled sculpture valued at over $300,000, built to generate new shapes each time it's activated. It is a home, but also a laboratory for ideas. But Zad's relationship with machines goes even further. His private garage resembles a museum for the world's most advanced automotive engineering. The McLaren Speedtail, valued at around $2.3 million, sits low to the ground like a liquid silver arrow. Next to it, a Ferrari LaFerrari, worth over $3 million, glows under precision LED lighting. And further down, a Porsche 918 Spider, priced around $1.7 million, rests beside a row of fully electric hypercars he is testing for long-term investment viability. To Zayed, these vehicles are more than status symbols. They are blueprints for the future of mobility. Machines that hint at where energy, software, and design are heading. His true empire, however, isn't built in garages or penthouses, but in boardrooms across Europe. Zadeh has quietly invested tens of millions of dollars into clean energy startups, AI robotics companies, quantum computing labs, and next-generation battery innovators. He travels frequently between Doha, London, Paris, and Zurich, often holding strategy sessions inside private members' clubs reserved for global financiers. Unlike many wealthy heirs focused on legacy industries, Zad is building a portfolio that anticipates the next 50 years of technological shifts. When he speaks about the future, he does so with the poise of someone who views wealth not as the destination, but as the runway for takeoff. Those close to him describe him as a royal futurist, a young billionaire more interested in shaping tomorrow than enjoying today. His presence has become symbolic inside the Althani lineage, proof that innovation, not inheritance, will define the next generation of Gulf power. With a life balance between tradition and transformation, Zad Althani embodies a question that many viewers might wrestle with. If you possessed $1 billion at his age, would you preserve the present or build the future? Comment below and tell me which path you'd choose. When you look closely at the lives of Dubai's richest kids, 3 lessons become impossible to ignore. First, wealth alone doesn't build influence. Branding does. Every sneaker collection, supercar, or private island trip becomes part of a carefully curated image that multiplies their power. Second, extreme luxury isn't the goal, it's a tool. Whether it's a $500,000 car or a $37 million villa, these assets shape perception and create opportunities. And third, legacy starts early. These young billionaires are already investing in global real estate, technology, and high-value collectibles to secure empires that will outlive them. If you enjoyed this journey inside their trillionaire lifestyles, make sure to like the video, subscribe to Billionaire Secret, and turn on notifications. And trust me, you'll want to follow this series because part 2 will reveal the one Dubai heir whose future net worth may surpass every person featured today.